And welcome back to Tomb Raider 2013, where today, after that storm had wrecked our only ride out of here, we're going to regroup with Roth and try and work out what to do next in this attempt to get off the island. But who knows where it will actually take us, because sure as hell nothing's working so far. So we need to regroup with Roth after we get across this mountainside, but we have a few encounters before we get there, because of course we do, to test what we've learned. But to be fair, this section coming up's not too bad. The main reason being is that they give you unlimited ammo for this, because there's no way for you to get more ammo. Ow. So enjoy just kind of shooting like a moron. You don't have to worry about ammo here. And then when you pull this, then you're back to normal. And we get rope arrows finally, which is great. Anytime you've seen like small rope bits attached to an object of any kind, like these, you can now interact with them. And the most beautiful thing of rope arrows is that they do not cost an arrow to use, so you feel free to just permanently shoot with the R1 if you feel like it. Yanking people off edges is like one of the most fun things to do in this game. That being said, I'm not going to make a habit of it, because I want to try and use this game to its advantage, but there's really nothing stopping you from just yanking these two's barricades and then yanking them off. So I keep missing. Let's take away your support. Ow. Oh come on, how'd I miss that one? There we go.
There's got to be a way up.
Yeah, I can see there's a way up. You just got to get this off. And despite how it looks, you can grab a hold of that. But I'm going to loot out elsewhere first. To be fair, I can... Is that explosive? Yeah. They're probably not. They look like urns, not barrels. But you can grab onto this despite the fact you have no reason to think you can anywhere else. So we can try and get up here, loot these guys, or reload that. Get hopefully some arrows back. That guy had 4 arrows in him. Christ, that dude lived through a lot. Oh yeah, and this game's introducing if you see like a pole, okay, that is just to attach, not to get through. If you see like a pole and you shoot a rope arrow at something near it, she will do that instead, allowing you to make a path across. And this is something that this game is kind of limited with, but the sequels kind of go wild with. And that's what you can attach that rope arrow to make a path to. Like in Rise and Shadow, you can kind of do it to anything you feel like. At least it feels like you can. It's a lot more open and free with what you can do it with. Whilst in this one, once again, I guess it's just because they were getting their feet wet with a lot of it. It's very limited, and it's only in very specific circumstances that they will let you do it as you go through. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of those specific circumstances. It's like you will get your worth out of it. It's just not as much as it could be. But that being said, we've reunited with Roth, so let's see what he has to say.
One moment they were fine, the next there was this storm. It came out of nowhere.
It's not your fault, Laura.
I called them here, Roth.
Hey, we'll find another way.
Mayday, mayday. This is co-pilot Jessica Bear.
Another pilot.
177A.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, badly hurt when I landed. I need urgent aid. Is anyone there?
Captain Jessup, do you read?
I've deployed a smoke signal. Please
Damn it, he can't hear me. I have to get to him.
No.
His signal's just over there.
We've got our own people to worry about. We'll need to regroup as soon as they find Sam.
I can't just leave him out there alone. I need to get to him.
Sometimes you've got to make sacrifices, Laura. You can't save everyone.
I know about sacrifices.
No, you know about loss. Sacrifice is a choice you make. Loss is a choice made for you.
I can't choose to let him die, Roth.
Yeah, Roth. We're perfectly capable young adults who know what we're talking about, and we're no better than you, old man. So let's go save that one last pilot from a not so certain death. Oh come on, I need to buy one more thing and then I can get access to the silver list. Yeah, sure, I'll get some extra salvage. And now we're at tier 2, or the hardened skill tier, which is literally, I just call it the silver tier, because everything's bronze colored when you start, then it goes silver, and then once we get the last set, it will go gold. So I just call it bronze, silver, and gold. Like, it's so much easier to recognize, and it's visually easier to identify for you to know what I mean. Well, if I said novice, hardened, and I forget what the last one is, master, I think, it'd be like, it's just extra needless work. Even though it's not hard to remember, it's still just like, well, why not just refer to them to what you can see? And it only applies to this game anyway, because I said the sequels adopt a more open, like, skill tree approach instead of just a list. If you wait, one of these 3 guys will actually completely leave the area and go pretty far away, giving you a free chance later on. So if we linger up here, we'll see him hop along. Because there's a rope at the top that he'll swing down. That guy. Hey, there he goes. And now he's completely isolated. If you want to, you're free to take him out here and now, because he's so far away, he won't be able to kick up a fuss even if you barely miss. Like so. Like, I don't know if it's just an AI thing, but they just don't react. Got him. He noticed me though. Thankfully there's only these 2 left, so I managed to kill it before it got any further. Now I'll spare that rabbit.
Anyone out there? Huh?
There's a trophy for killing a bunch of small animals that I kind of want to get. Like, the more trophies I can knock out in this game as I go through this Let's Play, the better. But the Tomb Raider reboot's kind of well known for how monotonous all of its trophies are. Without the exception of, like, complete the game and a couple Easter egg based ones, every other trophy is get 10% of something, get 25%, get 50%, get 75%, get 100% of set collectible, and then it's the next set of collectibles, and then it's the next, and then it's the next. But there's a couple as well that are thankfully a little bit better, and one of them is killing 5 big creatures, and the other is killing 10 small ones. There's also like a few, like, where it's like, it's just all checklists. I think it's the only easiest way to put it. It's all checklists, and so some of them, like, none of them are really that interesting to go for. Like, there's, I think with the exception of the 4th weapon that we'll get later on. Actually, no, I think that one does have one as well. I'd have to double check. But every single weapon, maybe minus the 4th one, has a trophy tied to it, which is kill so many enemies using it. I don't think the 4th weapon has one though, but I might be mistaken. Just because the 4th one, I think it's just because it's so powerful. Maybe they just didn't bother, but I might be completely mistaken. I haven't really looked at the trophy list of this game. I just know how horseshit it can be. And although I haven't platinumed any of the reboot trilogy, the later games do get better with their trophy lists and are more enjoyable, and I can recommend going for the extra stretch if you're up for it.
Shut up and let me finish.
Oh, that was unfortunate. You had to just turn around then and there, didn't you? Ow. Traded a little there, but it wasn't the end of the world. He had his back to me, so I thought he'd stay there. Thankfully, it was a redeemable situation, but that still could have been bad. You know, there's an ability, and I can't remember if it's in this game or whether it's only in Rise onwards, but there's an ability you can get where if you physically kill someone, it will count as a looting at the same time. Like, you will loot them immediately the moment you get the last finishing blow. It's great, but there's a hidden tomb over here as well anyway. But I really am starting to miss that ability of meleeing someone and then having to come back for him. So I'm like, oh yeah, right, I didn't loot them automatically. I don't know if it's in this game. I've been recording all of this live, so it's coming back to me as we go. That being said, once I finish recording this part, I've got a bit of an interesting mission that I'm going to be starting. And anyone who's played it will know why I'm saying this, but I'm going to be going through one of my earliest memories of Tomb Raider. Because when I was a young'un, because I was born in 99, I'm 20 years old, I'm going to be 21 in a few months. But when I was super little, my dad, and he still is, was a huge Tomb Raider fanatic. Like, he's played and beat every single one of them. Like I said, I mentioned it a couple parts ago that it was my thing with Dad. It was always our thing that every time a new Tomb Raider come out, sit down and he'd play through it. The only time he slowed down was with the reboots, because of just how different they were. It took a while for him to kind of adjust to them. But because of that, starting from Tomb Raider 4, I remember him going through every Tomb Raider, but I was so young with 4 and Chronicles that I pretty much don't remember a thing other than the fact that I know I was around when he played them. My earliest proper memories is of the 6th game, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Angel of Darkness. And that one's kind of infamous for how glitchy and unfortunately rushed it was late in development, and how, to be fair, absolutely none of it was Core's fault. It was entirely on Eidos and their rushing for publishing for wanting a Tomb Raider on PS1 and a Tomb Raider built for PS2 around the same time, and then splitting the team and then refusing to delay the deadlines. I think you just have to lock that down, lift this up, and then wait on it. So I think we just sit on this, and when that breaks and pushes us forward, we're good. Oh no, that lowered. Okay, so we gotta try and time that better. Never mind. But because Angel of Darkness is my earliest proper memory, given when I was like 4 or 5, so it's still not perfect. It's still extremely scattered, but I still have memories of it. I wanted, for the sake of almost exploring the past, wanted to go through it. And so I found it pretty cheap on eBay, and it's just arrived today. So as soon as this is finished and is processing and uploading, I'm going to fire that up. I don't know how far I'll get, but I want to give it a go. And the most like oddly satisfying thing was when because I live away from my dad. My dad lives on the opposite end of the town I live in. When I was talking to him over the phone about that I was getting Angel of Darkness, it was like an inner child awoke in him. And I know why. It's because it was memory making with me in our own little way that it's just like kind of lit that fire again. But it was so sweet to just hear my old man kind of just say, oh yeah, no, I remember this bit, oh, and then there was this bit, oh, and then you had to do it, and I was just like, Dad. Well, that being said, even if the game is as rough as I kind of remember it being, because it is rough around the edges. Like, my dad has still enjoyed a lot of it because he doesn't. My dad's one of those people where he doesn't mind if a game is rough as long as there's still things to do. Like, he is very accepting, especially even if it's a sequel that's a downgrade. If the game itself is still perfectly fine and still enjoyable, my dad is one of those people that will find fun in it. It's just who he is. And so Angel of Darkness, despite what it was, he loved it. He really enjoyed it. He didn't think it was as good as some of the previous ones, but it didn't stop him from thinking it was a good game. And so, because he only has like positive memories of it, even when we got hideously stuck because of things that was kind of out of our hands. Because there's a few like specific little moments I remember, but it's very specific and like probably wrong. And I think that's the worst thing, because I was so young. So I was only like 4 or 5. Any memory I have of the Angel of Darkness could be confused for very loose memories of Tomb Raider Chronicle, and I'm not sure. Or the 5th game that was on PS1 and Dreamcast. Like, it might be that, but it's really hard to tell. But that being said, I remember there's a part like where you go into a pawn shop to try and get some weaponry, and when you finally get the weaponry, you're locked in and a bomb gets set off, and you had to find a trapdoor. And even though like the trapdoor is obvious when you find it, if you couldn't find it, or or you couldn't interact with it properly because it was a bit finicky, you were fucked. And the only reason I remember that is because that's exactly what happened to Dad and I. The trapdoor, its pickup was extremely finicky, so it wasn't working. It wasn't doing it for us. This is the PS2 version. I don't know what it's like on PC. But because it was so finicky and it wasn't working, we assumed we were doing it wrong and there was something else we were supposed to look for. So we died in that section like a dozen times because we just didn't know where to go or what to do. I also remember like there's this bit where there's like 4 stone slabs in the middle of a room, and when you stand on them it opens a bunch of doors. Like if you stand on one, it opens 4 doors, and one of them will lead to the right lever that doesn't just drop you to your death. It will take you to like a special room, and like one of them's like a fire room. It's like a 4 elements room, something that's kind of standard with classic Tomb Raider, and something that I miss a lot. Just being able to go in a central room and have it branch off in different ways, and you have to do something about it. It's just I miss those kind of main room structures in the old Tomb Raiders. But it was one of those things, but I remember it being brutal because one of them was like a fire room, and, well, it's more of a lava room, but you had platforms that you had to work across, but every platform you stood on would break away after you left it, so you couldn't go back the way you came. Or once you got to the end and you had to come back, you had to take a different path, and you'd used too many of those ledges, you couldn't get back. And what didn't help was that the lava would spit out these fireballs every now and then, and they'd always perfectly land on a platform, and it'd always usually be the one you were on. I also remember a bit where you had to like kind of climb across a ceiling bit, and the only reason I remember struggling on it is because our physical strength wasn't high enough to make the full distance, so you had to backtrack and find things for Lara to push to build up her strength so she could do it. Something that was only in Angels of Darkness and never done again. The whole physical attributes of Lara. Which I'm surprised, because the reboot trilogy, the more survivor focused, could have been the perfect time to try again at that mechanic. Yeah, I know it's a different team, because starting with Legends, Crystal Dynamics is working on the Lara Croft series and not Core, but it still would have been cool to experiment with, to bring back the old grip system of the more things you did, the stronger she physically got naturally. Like, if you pushed boxes, she got physically stronger. If you kicked down doors, her legs would get stronger, etc, etc. And it would make her move quicker, but it'd also make her climb quicker and be able to hang onto walls and shit for longer. Because this, like I guess I should appreciate that they took gameplay over realism. I'm just saying that this would have been the perfect opportunity to try and tackle something like that again, while they were at it. Like, I'm not losing sleep over it.
Why did he go?
I don't think these tides are only collectible, but I'll light these anyway because they're right here. I'm not getting any notification for lighting them, so I'm assuming not. Oh well. You never know, it might be nighttime, we have to go through it again. This is a slide, here it is. This is something I'm at least glad they brought back from the old ones, the slides. Sliding around.
Ross told us about the plane. Don't worry, there's gotta be another way off this rock, right?
I hope so. Any sign of Sam?
Can we track her to some...
Also, despite this talking going on, it's not really stopping you from looting anything, so have fun with it.
Probably just, sightseeing.
You're a terrible liar, Alex. You have to be careful in there.
Bonk, see? There's another campsite here as well. And it's pretty dark in here. If it's dark for me playing, the YouTube compression is going to make it even darker, so I'm going to keep my torch lit as we go through here, just in case. But if it's the bronze, silver and gold approach, because of my approach of doing it, works in working out how far along the gun upgrades are as well. Like, if you go on the pickaxe, you know that's only going to be one upgrade because it starts on gold. Whilst everything else starts on bronze. So we had a weapon there, so I think it was our bow that had gone up to silver because we found bow parts from where we've been looking around. I'll try and find as many weapon parts as we are, but to be honest, it feels kind of random when they give them to you. Like, it doesn't feel like it's designated spots, so hopefully I can find some and show you what each weapon can do. But it's really no promises because it feels a little too much out of my hand.
These ruins predate the Kofun period.
I've got to wonder why these boxes are just here, but I'm not really complaining. Like, it's pretty salvaged, it's just they're kind of everywhere.
A queen. Himiko?
Okay, I didn't take the torch off, but we're in lighter environments anyway. Oh yeah, I remember this section.
Incredible.
Fun fact, if you like stand still when she says Captain Jessup, she'll say it again. Captain Jessup?
Jessup?
And it's the exact same voice clip. You can stay there forever and she'll keep on repeating it. Oh god.
For a child, you've caused me a great deal of trouble, but you're just as naive and predictable. Kill her!
Theoni! The Guardians are here! Come on, get out!
Once again, dun dun dun, Matthias is evil, which is a surprise to literally nobody. But now we've got one of the slightly more horror-based environments of this, which which one of the things that got a bit of a mixed reception. Some people felt that horror didn't have a place here, to which I heavily disagreed, and my reason being, play the original. For a second I thought she died then. The way she just slapped the ground, everything went grey, I was like, did she die? Was that too great of a fall? Did she just fall to her death? Was I supposed to do something else? I genuinely thought she just died then, I was getting worried. I've done alright so far, not dying, so I was just kind of like, did I just throw it away because I wasn't thinking? But the original, the final level, the Lost Island, goes, you go into like a hellscape with like Atlantean creatures, and they like, replicated it perfectly in the Anniversary game, my favourite Tomb Raider Anniversary. And it is something that is kind of a part of the series, very on and off, but horror is definitely a part of it. Even in Angel of Darkness, they have a bunch of ghost demon things, but there's still like this horror-esque thing about it. So this section here being horror, I don't think is abnormal or different. I think people are just too used to like Legend and Underworld, because Legend especially is a very like trivial, happy-ish game for most part. Like, it's got a couple moments, but it's very jovial. Like, it doesn't take itself very seriously, even when it should. And Underworld, like, when you get to Avalon near the end, it's a little creepy, but outside of that, it's really fine. It's really tame compared to the classics and what this game's gonna do. And even this, I'd say, is kind of tame compared to some of the older stuff. And because Lara's adamant on walking, I'm just going to keep on... There we go. So I'm just going to keep on spamming circle until we get on. But now it's time for our fourth and final weapon. And yeah, you only do get 4 weapons in this game, which is a little bit of a... compared to some of the stuff you got up to in the pretty old game. But it's a shotgun. And it is as powerful as you would hope. Like, the shotgun in the Reboot trilogy is legendary. I love them.
They're looking for me.
But it's also the most scarce of ammo. And it's the reason why I don't think it has a trophy, but I really have to check, because it's just so powerful. Now it's time for Lara's dumbest line ever. It's the first line she says, just pay attention, and you'll understand exactly why it's stupid.
I hate tombs.
There it is! No you don't.
A Sun Queen and her Storm Guard. Himiko. The first Sun Queen. This is Yamatai. And you're really here. And really, really dead. This is incredible. This looks like some kind of fire ritual, a sacrificial ritual. Horrible. But why were the women burnt like that? A journey, a pilgrimage to... is that this monastery? Pouring water. But why? And there you are, Queen. Wait. It's not pouring water, it's transferring power. This is an ascension ritual. It's how you chose your successor. Oh no.
After all that extra understanding of Queen Himiko, we've got some people to come in, so let's just end them. Ow. Now, despite what you'd have every reason to think, you do still have all your other weapons on it. The cutscene earlier of us getting captured and trapped, they didn't think to take anything off us. But at the same time, there's really no reason to use anything else. Also, yeah, that is the perfect spot where I just was, because they will just keep on landing exactly there. And because they really want you to use the shotgun here, every enemy drops shotgun ammo. And getting out of it's perfectly fine. You just use the bow, yank this off. Be wary of that guy, but he can't actually hurt you because, yeah, there he is. because that thing's gonna take him.
What the hell is that thing?
We won't have to deal, even though we're going to be introduced to those things now, we don't fight them until much later. Like, they spend a very long time teasing them. Well, like, teasing that they're about. But if you squeeze your eye through that gate over there, you can see someone else freaking out and running away. And watching someone run away from a monster from the other side of the gate reminds me of level 2 of Legend so much, because it's the exact same thing. But either way, I'm going to call this apart. So next time on Tomb Raider, we'll try and get out of here and try and find Sam, because she seems to have just gone missing. Probably kidnapped, but she's gone missing. But either way, you guys take care now.